one more interview with one of the Hong Kong squad guys, and this time we got a captain. What's your name, sir?
John Abel.
You're the captain of Hong Kong, and this was, as I was told from one of your players, it was the first game of a European tour, so to say. What are your impressions so far of European rugby?
It's very cold compared to home. I think the conditions have really changed the way we've had to play in Europe. Today being our first day, we've had to adapt quite a lot. The players that we have are a bit smaller and faster players, up against a very big German side in comparison to the teams that we play in Asia. The game that we played here today was a bit slow. We're a bit disappointed about how we played, but all in all, it's a start to our European tour. We've got first of 3 matches, so hopefully we can build on this.
How much of a distraction was the playing conditions for you? I mean, it was very cold here today.
It was very cold, and we've come from 20, 25 degrees in Hong Kong over to a cold pitch. With the ground, we're used to playing on artificial surfaces in Hong Kong. It's a much faster game. Over here, it's slowed down a little bit. Some of our faster, smaller boys lost their footing. But Germany seemed to want it a lot more today. They're very physical up front and a much bigger side.
Now, if you watch the game, I mean, in the beginning it was Germany was leading by quite a margin, but in the end you were able, especially in the second half, I thought you were much better than in the beginning. What did you change then? Or did you just adapt to the conditions and to the playing style?
I think there's an element of first game on tour. There's a bit of cobwebs. The boys are getting used to the conditions after the first half. We got a good talking to at half time. I think the boys realised then that we would have to change the way we played slightly. Maybe try not to be so physical in close and try and play a little bit wider. And we tried to get out to our backs a bit more in the second half, which hopefully was the reason we played a little bit better in the second half.
Now you're on a tour with the national team, but for which club do you play when you play in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong I play for DA Tigers.
And can you just give us a little bit more information on which kind of league and how many teams there are and how big rugby is in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, I think we have 7 divisions. In the first division, which is my club, has 4 teams, all playing senior men's rugby, a ladies team. Our first division has 6 teams, of which I believe we have a representative from all the clubs in Hong Kong playing in the Hong Kong team. My team particularly has traditionally had a lot of local Chinese players and local players. The different clubs have different weights in terms of expat players and overseas players who come in. We have got some new laws that are coming this year with you have to have a certain number of IRB eligible players playing in your first division team. There's a minimal number of imported players that are playing in Hong Kong now to try and boost the pool of international players that our coaches can select from.
Okay, actually I knew Hong Kong pretty much as a 7th rugby nation. So would you consider your 7th rugby or your 15th rugby the stronger version of the game?
Our 7th team last week won the silver medal at the East Asian Games. Very narrowly lost to Japan in the final seconds of the gold medal game. Our 7th team, obviously, is small, far side. We're more competitive on the 7th circuit worldwide. Within Asia itself, we'd like to think that we're improving. We've got a new coach in, and things are changing. The emphasis now is a lot more on 15s with the Asian 5 nations. So there's now something to play for. It's not just such a 7s dominated game in Hong Kong anymore.
And coming to your next game, which is the nation you play next on your tour?
We leave to Prague on Monday and we play the Czech Republic in Prague on Wednesday.
So actually you got 2 or 3 more games, I learned?
We have 2 more games, Prague on Wednesday, and then we play Holland next Saturday, I believe.
And maybe the final question, what are your expectations? What do you take out of this tour for your next official games?
Ideally, what we're doing is we're building towards World Cup qualifying games, which the Asian 5 nations in May will be. This tour is very much a development tour. We've come here fairly underprepared with a minimal amount of training under our belts, but we seem to be gelling well as a squad. We've got, I believe, 15 new players under this coach have come along with this touring squad. So it's very much getting to know the guys, learning about the patterns of play that Hong Kong have, and basically building towards the Asian Five Nations games that we've got in April and May.
Okay, so we wish you much success there, and thanks for the interview.